fighting from Chris Eubank Jr, who in this, his 27th professional contest, improves his record now to 26 wins, 20 knockouts, and still just a one solitary loss. And Avni Yildirim is consigned to the first defeat on his professional record, and it was delivered.
He beat the shit out of dude. This is all real time, you know. So right now it is 5:33 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. What is it? The 7th? I don't even know the date. October the 7th, 2017. TstreeT Controversy. It's just TstreeT Controversy Live. Now Chris Eubank Jr. moves on. Let's look at the replay.
Right on the button, right on the button. You cannot stand there and swing up with Chris Eubank Jr. As I mentioned earlier on, Yildirim, the way he fights, he's always going to get caught with that shot. Chris Eubank Jr. struggles with the guys who can box and move, like guys like Jamie Cox or George Groves, who will fight in the next fight. But Yildirim, I mean, that's beautiful. The hand speed, the power, tailor-made for him. Bang, bang, bang, bombastic finish. Game over.
Well, many people have questioned the punching power of Chris Eubank, which I find rather perverse, seeing that he came in to this contest with a knockout ratio of 75%. To be sure, he's not a one-punch knockout artist, but he broke.
Who's been questioning his power? Anyway, the fight ended in the 3rd round. I knew that Avni Yildirim was in for a tough night when he took that knee, or he was basically knocked down in the 1st round by an uppercut. Now, we should know that Chris Eubank Jr.'s signature punch is the uppercut. Now, here's the thing. I'm giving him credit for the win and everything, but we have to talk about the real. My God, he knocked dude the fuck out. Let's look at it one more time. Why stand over him like that? Damn it.
How devastating that knockdown was, and didn't even issue the 10 count. Waved it off immediately, and Chris Eubank Jr., the tournament #3 seed, has booked his place in the World Boxing Super Series semi-final with an explosive display of accurate pot-shot punch-picking. Another look at the finish. Once again, Eubank creating room for the punches. Right hook around the corner and continuing to look for openings in the increasingly leaky guard of the fighter who was on rubbery legs. Right hook, left hook, good night. Avni Yildirim knocked out in the 3rd round, subjected to his first professional loss. And Chris Eubank Jr., devoid of emotion, job done, as he successfully...
I guess what we're doing is waiting for the post-fight interview. So, this is the 1st round of the World Boxing Super Series tournament. The World Boxing Super Series tournament is split up between 2 divisions, the 168-pound division, which this division right here, and the cruiserweight division, a 200-pound division. TstreeT Controversy. This is TstreeT Controversy Live. I cover every single major fight live here doing post-fight videos. So I do my videos moments, in this case real time, after the fight went off. So I'm sitting here watching it, you know, and this happened, so I click record. I'm going to be at one of the World Boxing Super Series fights, October the 31st. It's going to be Murat Garcia versus, I forgot how to pronounce his last name, but it's a cruiserweight fight. And by the time I get to the fight on fight week, I'll be sure to know how to pronounce his name. But in this case, for this super middleweight division, you have a lot of good boxers, and also you're going to have, hopefully, one of the best fights of the World Boxing Super Series at cruiserweight, when you're going to have, super middleweight, if George Groves next week. Right now it's October the 7th, so on the 14th, George Groves fights Jamie Cox. Jamie Cox is known to be a bit of a hothead outside and inside the ring, but he does have the pressure that has been known to give guys like George Groves issues in the past. So if the stars align, George Groves would beat Jamie Cox, and then in the 2nd round of this World Boxing Super Series, sometime in January or February, we would see Chris Eubank Jr. versus George Groves, which is a super fight over there in the UK. Now, you have Colin Smith, who's also in the tournament. You have Jürgen Brähmer versus Rob Brandt. I'm going to be covering that fight. I'm going to let you know who both of those fighters are in case you don't know as we get closer to the fight. So, in this case, right now you already have Colin Smith. He's one win away from being in the finals. The finals are going to take place in May. He, in his next fight in January, February, is going to fight either Rob Brandt or Jürgen Brähmer. Chris Eubank Jr. just advanced to the next round. His next opponent is going to be either Jamie Cox or George Groves. That fight takes place next week. So the people who are left in the tournament right now is George Groves, Jamie Cox, Chris Eubank Jr., Colin Smith, Brähmer, and Brandt. What are they saying?
Fight, both guys better box.
We're waiting for the post-fight interviews. So in the meantime, I want to let you guys know that I like Chris Eubank Jr. We have seen improvement, and he is thriving at the 168-pound division. But I'm sorry, if you look at the resume, there's just not much there. And fans, boxing fans, even media, you know, and the other boxing organizations don't respect the highly coveted and seductive and alluring IBO title. Just in this day and age, the IBO title just doesn't really mean anything. It used to have prestige back in the day. Are they doing a post-fight interviews? It used to have prestige back in the day, but it just doesn't have the same prestige as it used to. What am I doing? So what I'm trying to do is, let's wait for the post-fight interview, and then we are going to talk. Looks like Avni Yildirim is okay. He took some clean shots, some tough-ass shots, and we've seen Chris Eubank Jr. have the power to put people into the hospital and in careers, unfortunately.
Zone right. From
We're look at Chris Eubank Jr.'s record after
nice to see a warm embrace between the two combatants. The contest fought in a terrific spirit. And he conquered, raising the hand of his conqueror. Good to see that Yildirim is okay. Owner reminded me yesterday that Danny Williams came to Germany on a roll to face off against the late Sinan Samuel Sam for the European heavyweight title. He said Sinan Samuel Sam was the underdog on that occasion, and he met.
Okay, we're waiting for the post-fight interview. Me personally, I think that George Groves is the better boxer, but I don't think he can handle the pressure of a Chris Eubank Jr., and he might get himself knocked out, in my personal opinion. Colin Smith, in his last fight against Eric Skoglund, he has a lot of questions to be answered, and a lot of people feel that he's no longer the favorite to win this World Boxing Super Series tournament. You know, and right now it's looking like Chris Eubank Jr. is the favorite, but would that make him the best 168-pounder? No. You know, when I try to match him up against a guy like Jesse Hart or a guy like Gilberto Ramirez, I think he may beat a Jesse Hart. Gilberto Ramirez, you know, we want to see him against the meat of the 168-pound division, but realistically, you have what? Now the king of the hill, I guess you could say, is James DeGale. And he's going to be coming back soon off an injury.
Title as well.
Battle Jack is...
So Chris Eubank Jr.
Battle Jack is gone from the 168-pound division. He's at 175, and he just dropped his belt that he won from Nathan Cleverly. Why did it take us so long with the post-fight interviews? Well, whatever the case may be, we're in no rush.
Didn't really see that coming, but then neither did the Turk.
Absolutely. I mean, I thought Eubank would get him late in the fight. I thought the Turk would be strong initially, you know, make a good account of himself initially, but Eubank was just too much for him. Now, I did say the kid was a goalkeeper. He does fight with his face. That led into Eubank's hands. And
yeah, you know, and Avni Yildirim was just slow, and if you look at his resume, there really wasn't nothing there to like write home. There wasn't nothing there, you know. So he made it into this tournament. He made some good money. What I'm trying to figure out, and is I really would like to know, is how the money is dispersed, because there's $25 million in this tournament, you know, for this division alone. Oh wait, here we are.
For the WBC world title as well, and you are through to the final four of the World Boxing Super Series after a destructive third-round knockout of a previously undefeated opponent. Your thoughts on that explosive display you have just produced to book your place in the semi-final?
I'm here to dominate this tournament. You know, I'm sending a message out there to everybody that I'm coming. George Groves, get through your next fight with Jamie Cox, so we can give the British public, the world, the boxing fans what they want to see, which is me and you in January. And we'll see what happens. I think it's going to be exactly the same what happened here tonight. I'm going out there to knock these guys out. I'm not playing anymore.
So that is the next semi-final, George Groves and Jamie Cox. Just elaborate on what you just stated. Who do you think is going to win that semi-final? Any preference as to who you would rather face in the Final Four of the World Boxing Super Series?
I've been trying to get a fight with Groves now for a few years. You know, he has a world title, he has the name, we have the history, and the boxing fans have been asking for this fight for years. We need to get in that ring and settle it once and for all. You know, James DeGale, Billy Joe Saunders, all these other British fighters, they don't want to get in the ring with me. George Groves has signed on the dotted line to compete in this tournament, so as long as he gets to his fight next, we're going to get on, we're going to give the public what they want to see.
People have questioned your punching power. You've never been a one-punch knockout artist, but you still have a 75% knockout ratio coming into the contest. What do you say to those critics who have questioned the power of your punching, particularly at the higher weight class of 168 pounds, and given the performance you've produced tonight?
Lions don't concern themselves with the thoughts of sheep. You know, armchair critics can say what they want. You know, if I don't have power, then I don't have power. I'm not there to prove anyone right or wrong. I'm here to get in there and give the public fan, give the boxing fans what they want to see, which is exciting fights. Whether it's a knockout, whether it's a 12th round decision, whether it's, you know, a stoppage, I'm always going in there and giving 100% and giving the fans what they want to see. So you can't really ask for more.
You've taken the oath of a fighter who came in undefeated. Your father, when he was there on draft night in Monaco in July, said that Yildirim brings war. What was it like sharing a ring with him tonight? You've come out on top with the explosive, destructive victory, but what was it like sharing a ring with that perfect record? How did you cope with what he brought to the contest tonight?
He was a strong come-forward fighter like I knew he was going to be, but the experience is not there for him. He's 16-0, but I think he has to work technically on his boxing abilities. To compete with a fighter like me, you have to come with more than just, you know, big, heavy punches coming forward. If you do that, then I'm going to catch you. Groves is an experienced, well-rounded fighter, and that's why the boxing fans want to see that fight, because they know it's going to be competitive and they know that it's going to be exciting. So, you know, I'm back in the gym tomorrow. Groves, I'm coming for you.
Well, we look forward to whoever you face in the semi-final. Congratulations on your victory tonight. And maybe I'll ask you the question, will you be at Wembley Arena next week watching that semi-final?
Well, I guess I have to. You know, these guys are in the tournament. They're the ones I'm going to be fighting, so I want to see up and close what they're made of. I know I have the beating of them, but yes, I will be there to make sure that they're towing the line.
Well, we look forward to seeing you ringside at Wembley, something of a scouting mission for yourself, of course, because you will be facing the victor of the semi-final between George Groves and Jamie Cox. But this night belongs to you. Congratulations, Chris Eubank Jr., a successful defense of your IBO world title, and you are through to the semi-final of the World Boxing Super Series.
I've covered about 12, maybe more of his fights straight. Oh, we gotta listen to him. I'm sorry, we gotta listen to it.
Contest, just explain to us how the contest went from your point of view.
Maçında ilk mağlubiyetini, bunu nasıl hissediyorsun?
Elimizden geleni yaptık. Tüm seyircilerimize geldikleri için, burada beni yalnız bırakmadıkları için çok teşekkür ediyorum. Vardır bir hayır. Bugün demek ki bizim günümüzdeymiş, kazanamadık. İnşallah vardır bir hayır. Allah hepsinden razı olsun beni burada yalnız bırakmadıkları için.
So he said, I'm thankful for my fans, everybody who came to the arena. That was not my day. Maybe it's one reason. I will come back. And he says, thank you again for the people.
Well, we look forward to your ring return, but just a couple more questions, if I may, on this contest tonight. What did he do that perhaps took you by surprise? Was he stronger than you expected, faster than you expected, sharper than you expected? What did he do in there tonight that perhaps you weren't prepared for?
Hızı gerçekten farklıydı. Onu da kullandı. İnşallah bakalım bundan sonra kariyerimiz nasıl devam edecek. Tüm halkıma geldikleri için sonsuz teşekkür ediyorum. Beni yalnız bırakmadıkları için sonsuz teşekkür ediyorum.
So his speed was really a speed. It was a little different, what I find out quick now. And I thank again my public to come here. And so he said this.
Well, we know you're immensely disappointed with the result tonight. We want to thank you for competing in the World Boxing Super Series. Just give us an idea, how do you go about the rebuilding process? When do you think you'll be in the ring again? And how do you go about fulfilling your immense potential and talent?
Biraz dinleneceğiz. Biraz dinlendikten sonra bakacağız.
We will get a rest and then we will see. We can't answer now.
Okay, well, Avni Yildirim, thank you very much indeed for taking the time to speak with us. Commiserations, it wasn't your night tonight, but you have taken part in what has proved to...
Yeah, he found out about that speed fast. And one thing I can say is, as I said earlier in the video, Chris Eubank Jr. has gotten better over the years. He's gotten a lot, he's gotten a lot better. He's not the same, like he's learning, and it's a lot of pressure on him now because he has to succeed. I don't know why I'm lagging. Let me fix this. Put this up there. So let's talk about the tournament. One thing I've been upset about is, if you're in the United States, from my understanding, if you had Comcast or Xfinity, like I had, one of the biggest cable companies in the country, if not the biggest, right? You wasn't able to watch this fight on your television. You had to watch it by other means, if you get what I'm saying, which is whack. Now, some fights they show here on the World Boxing Super Series website, but it's only some. So for example, this fight was free on the website in the following territories: Australia, New Zealand, France, Italy, and the Middle East. But here in the United States, like, we couldn't watch the fight. Now, I've covered maybe anywhere between 10 to 15 of Chris Eubank Jr.'s fights live here on YouTube, meaning moments after they went off, all the way when he was like the first, second, third fight on the card before a main event. So they needed to do something to make things, better. But let's go look at the tournament, and let's go look at where we stand right now. We're not talking about the cruiserweights, even though I'm going to be at the Murat Garcia fight. It's this one right here. Let me go ahead and zoom in. We're looking at the super middleweight. So here's the first round. This fight is next week. George Groves versus Jamie Cox. Eubank Jr. has advanced to the next round right here, the semifinals. You have Smith, who beats Klugen, advanced to the semifinal. You have this fight, October the 27th, Jürgen Brähmer versus Rob Brandt. I'm going to do a video on that fight the closer we get to the fight. And as you can see, as they were saying, he made it to the Final Four. These fights, which if everything aligns right, you would have Chris Eubank Jr. versus, George Groves, not counting Jamie Cox out, because he can give George Groves a lot of problems with his pressure and activity, and he can be a hothead in the ring, which can be which can work against you and against you in some cases, and then, if in a perfect world, we would have Colin Smith versus the winner of George Groves versus Chris Eubank Jr. So the way it's supposed to work out is these fights happening, September and October. These fights in January, February, if I'm correct, not February, March. I believe it's January, February, these fights. And then the finals will take place in May or June. So this is and it's $25 million spread throughout this tournament. So looking at Chris Eubank Jr., 26-1 with 20 KOs, you remember the fight that he lost, the only fight he lost against Billy Joe Saunders, was due to him not starting early enough and allowing Billy Joe Saunders to outbox him, but still, Billy Joe Saunders won. But when you look around, Arthur Abraham, that's a pretty solid, good win, because Arthur Abraham has a Hall of Fame resume. So that's, but many say that Arthur Abraham, even though he's only about 36, he has a lot of miles on him. He's been in a lot of battles. And then Renaud Quinlan, Tom Duran, Nick Blackwell, he put him in the hospital, Gary Sullivan, Tony Jeter, Dmitry Chudinov, Billy Joe Saunders. There's not really much there, but we have seen him get better. But get better against who? Guys like Avni Yildirim, So I guess it all depends on how you look at it. I'm not clowning him or anything. But when you look at Avni Yildirim, Avni Yildirim, look who he's fought. Yeah, he's got Marco Antonio Parabon, which was a very good, solid fight for fighters a couple of years ago, but not anymore. And if you look at all this other stuff, my God, nothing there. So I'm not trying to clown him or anything like that. I'm just saying that, you know, it's just, you know, you can see where Chris Eubank Jr. is getting better, and you can see how he can be the favorite to win this tournament. But looking at the 160-pound division as a whole, you know, how does he fare against the other champions? In this case, the IBF champion, you know, in James DeGale, you know, or the WBO champion that is still, you know, Gilberto Ramirez. He may be able to beat Gilberto Ramirez and Jesse Hart, but is he the best 168-pounder? Now that Badou Jack's going, you can make an argument, but is it? I'm TstreeT Controversy. This is TstreeT Controversy Live. I cover every single major fight live. Please subscribe.